Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Think Clinical Podcast. My name is Hamza. It's amazing to be here. Today we will be talking about another very exciting topic. What most people do not realize is that most healthcare founders mostly will live from payroll to payroll. So, and this is not by choice, but it's usually by design. Unfortunately, a very, very broken design. So today we'll be looking at how you can improve cash flow, and a lot of this is going to hinge on your revenue cycle management. And you need to actually look at where you are able to maximize or optimize your revenue cycle needs. And when you need to understand what revenue cycle is, you have to understand that this is a financial process providers use to track patient care episodes from registrations to final payment and collection. So it's a cycle. You're looking at just from pre-arrival, from the time before the patient comes, what needs to be done, all the way to when the patient leaves and you get payment or you collect on the services you provided for them. And for the purposes of this video, I need you to really pay attention to these 7 steps in the flow. First, you are scheduling a patient or registering a patient. That's the first part of that revenue cycle. What goes into that step is really important. You need to look at insurance eligibility verification. That's the second one. You need to look at whether or not the patient is eligible under whatever insurance plan that they said they are coming in with, because that's the commonest reasons why people get denied, because either they're not covered or they're not even credential with that insurance plan, but you've provided a service already. You need to look at how you capture charges. So you have to document all the services you've provided, all the codes that you've completed for that day. First of all, the word is completed, so you have to make sure that you're documenting all completed codes or all services that have been provided for that day. You need to make sure that you're coding them correctly, making sure you're translating the medical service you provided into what they call the billable codes. Okay, and then you have to look at how claims are submitted to insurance, payment posting after insurance has paid, or denial management if they said no, we are not paying for that service. And you have to look at how you're going to do patient billing and how you're going to collect on that. So those are the 7 steps that you need to pay attention to: patient scheduling, insurance eligibility verification, charge capture, medical coding, claim submission to insurance, payment posting and denial management, and you're looking at patient billing and collections. Now, the traditional model, usually with average medical practices, who have to probably wait between 45 to 60 days to get payment for certain services, and usually you have about a 15 to 20% denial rate. So we are trying to look at how these can be reduced, how you can improve your cash flow, and how you can get this done. But you have to look at this in the context of 2 systems. Either it is a fragile or an anti-fragile system. What does that mean? Fragile system means that your cash flow, your revenue cycle breaks under pressure. You have one payer who probably ruins your whole month, and that's really fragile. But when you look at an anti-fragile system, it gets stronger under stress, which means you have a diversified revenue stream and you have multiple payment methods. So you're not just all heavy on insurance, you have multiple payment methods, so usually it gets stronger when this happens. What are those revenue streams that we are talking about? 1, insurance reimbursement is always primarily the traditional way to go. So you can have fee-for-service payments from insurance companies. You can typically have 60 to 70% of revenue for most practices coming from insurance. So that's really, really important. So the highest volume but most complex collection process that you have to navigate all the time. The second one we'll look at is when we have direct pay services. So when patients come in without insurance, they have cash, they have credit cards, you can actually provide those services and they will pay for it, or the service is not covered with insurance or covered under insurance, so they will pay for it. So there are no insurance delays, and the higher profit margins that come with it. And the third level of it is subscription revenue, which is the monthly membership fees for ongoing care. So you have predictable revenue, which I've mentioned in previous ones, predictor revenue for you as a company, and it helps you to plan financially because you have 1,000 patients. Each patient is paying this for membership fees every month. So these are the three levels. You have people without insurance who pay with cash, the insurance reimbursements, which form the bulk of what you'll be getting, and you can also go with memberships or subscription payments that come in. So always remember the 50-30-20 rule. Mature healthcare practices target 50% of their revenue to come from insurance, 30% to come from direct pay, and 20% from subscription revenue. This is where how you create an anti-fragile system, where now you know that they are strengthened under stress because you have a good distribution of your revenue coming from different expenses. 50% coming from insurance, 30% from direct pay, and 20% coming from subscription models. Then it gives you a strong foundation. And we can quickly talk about what payment velocity is, but this is not something that would actually yes, it would improve your cash flow, but this is something that if you're able to get all the components of your cycle dialed in properly, it would improve on its own. So what does that mean? How quickly money moves from a service delivery to your bank account. That's just your payment velocity. And you have usually 4 things that would impact this. Upfront collections, making sure that you collect any estimated patient balances or portions before service. They'll reduce patient balances by 80% and improves cash flow by 15 to 20 days. That's just how it works. So if you want to improve payment velocity, which is how quickly you get money from a service to your bank account, you have to make sure that patient portions are collected upfront. Now, real-time adjudication, which means instant insurance claim processing during visit, no exam patient responsibility immediately, reduce claim denials by 40%. Some people have the capacity, usually in the medical field, not in the dental, to be able to do stuff like this. Digital payment rails, starts the text-to-pay functions, online patient portals, automatic payment plans. These things also help in your collection or your payment velocity. Making sure that from service delivery to time money hits your account is very important. And AI-powered claim optimization, which is the next level to everything, where you're automating coding validation and denial predictions. You are preventing denials before they even happen. So this is like the top level of everything. These are the ways you can increase, very practical ways you can increase how you convert cash from service delivery into your bank account. Make sure that patient portions are collected at the time of your service. If you have the ability to do real-time adjudications, make sure you use that feature. If you have text-to-pay features like digital payment rails, like text-to-pay features, online portals, make sure you're using all those. Automated payment plans, make sure you're using those features to help patients move cash quickly into your account. Now, when you finally look at this, always look at your metrics. You have to measure what you're tracking, and you have to look at days in AR, which is a very huge one as far as whenever you're managing, especially with insurance plans are concerned. You want to keep that under 35 days. The industry average is between 45 to 50 days, so you want to keep that under 45 days. Now, when you look at other things like percentage of collectible, you want to also have that under control, making sure that you're collecting whatever, like you're monitoring how much of your collecting. First pass resolution rate, you want to look at that. The target should be about 90% plus. Industry average is usually between 75 to 80%. When you look at patient payment conversion, which is the percentage of patient balances that are collected, you want to look at 85% plus. Industry average between 50 to 60%. And when you look at revenue cycle cost, you are trying to collect each dollar of revenue, or the amount of money it takes you to collect each dollar of revenue. You are trying to keep it under 4%. Industry average is between 6 to 8%. So cash flow chaos isn't a healthcare fact of life. It's a choice. And if you're able to really implement the processes, like I said, which can increase your payment velocity and processes that actually diversify where your cash is coming from in terms of the streams of cash, whether it's subscription, whether it's direct pay, or whether it's insurances. If you're able to diversify that and create an anti-fragile system, it will really put you in a very, very good place. When your financial system gets stronger under pressure, you stop fearing market changes, because then it helps you're able to start leveraging them instead of being afraid. That's not just better business, it's just freedom for you as the founder and the owner of the business. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. This has been another episode of the Think Clinical Podcast. Do have a wonderful day. Remember to subscribe, like, and share.